Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you very much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. We're going to take a quick look at Rose, see what's going on. I got a lot of requests from this one because I recently covered it as it was breaking its all-time high, and obviously it's done very well since then. So we'll cover this. Thanks, Rickon, for requesting that I do review this here today. Also, if you're new to the channel, not a financial advisor, just love teaching people how to trade. Really appreciate your support. And obviously, I have a trading community if you are considering becoming a better trader. I send out signals for every single trade that I take. I'm rolling out with Trading Academy month end, and we're transitioning to a website away from Patreon. So still feel free to, continue using Patreon for the moment, but we will transition because it's just much more convenient. We'll have a members section with community updates, etc. It's going to be a really awesome situation. So check that out in your own time. Now, taking a look here at Rose. First and foremost, I want to kind of preface, I guess you could say, with Bitcoin, okay? Again, I usually do that. I'm going to cover Bitcoin separately altogether, but I just want to kind of note here that we are seeing somewhat of a sell-off right from Bitcoin. Lower highs, lower lows in the 1 hour chart. 4 hour doesn't look so great. We have a bearish divergence, and of course we're under 50 on the RSI. We lost that yesterday, and I was expecting us to, and unfortunately we did. So I just want you to kind of preface and kind of throw that out there and take a look at this pattern here too and what it looks like. Before we look at Rose, and the reason why is just based on the simple fact that Rose is performing a lot better than Bitcoin, right? So if we kind of compare the two, watch we go back to Bitcoin, we can see this kind of shape where the price comes up and then comes back down. For Rose, it's coming up, coming down, but effectively bouncing off of this area here, right around 48, 49 cents, right in that range. So again, making nice higher highs and higher lows even still, and the most recent low wasn't lower than the previous, right? So it's still a higher low, which is awesome. And all this in the face of Bitcoin being kind of I don't know, an idiot, not fun, not great. There's a lot of different words you could use to describe Bitcoin right now. I'm trying to be nice and not use any kind of, foul language, but, Bitcoin's is kind of just not performing right. And we've gotten 2 doji candles in a row, and today's a red day. So I'm not surprised that we're seeing that kind of sell-off. But how that factors into Rose is actually really nice, because if we look at this here, the last 12 to 16 hours, look at that it's going up, whereas Bitcoin is going down. Okay, so again, something to understand in just the big picture, that good coins have a tendency of breaking free from Bitcoin. Rose is still very much free of Bitcoin, and it's kind of doing its own thing, and it's in that discovery phase. Okay, so I just want to kind of preface and throw that out there so you know that, hey, Rose, yes, albeit selling off sort of, I don't think we're going to see an extreme sell-off. We might see a large candle wick down if Bitcoin does drop to 37.5, or just say, for example, 40,500, test that support level again. If we see that, then yes, Rose should likely come back down to the next major Fibonacci retracement level, right around 45 cents, which was a previous all-time high. Okay, so right in that range there, we should expect the price to likely consolidate out right in this range if we're to lose a bottom from Bitcoin, which I do think is a likelihood at this point. So we can probably expect Rose to continue to progress downwards. I would say more so probably bounce off 45, but worst case, bouncing off 40, 41 cents, right in that range. Okay. Again, I like to go with the worst case scenario, but for the most part, if you're not familiar with this, generally speaking, a previous resistance level, which in this case was roughly 45 cents, that was a strong resistance for the all-time high. It couldn't break that. It tested that range about 3 or 4 times total, if you see previously until now. So back in November it tried twice, and again it tried again in January, and obviously just a couple of days ago it went ahead and took off, right? That being said, this is a very, very strong support level now, right? So right around 45 cents as a rough estimate is a very strong support level. So the price comes back down, it should likely hold that position. Okay, we might see a candle wick lower, but the likelihood of it coming back to consolidate at that area is very high. We lose that support level, different story. We'll have to look at it again and reevaluate. But for the most part, we've got 2 strong supports at 40/45 cents. So this 40 to 45 cent range is a good place to be, so to speak. Let's also take a look at the volume profile. So we've got a lot of volume underneath the current price action. Obviously, that's kind of a standard case, but what that basically means is large amount of volume below the price action, the better, the more potential you have for support. So heaven forbid we lose this range here, we've got a tremendous amount of volume here. Let's also go ahead and take a look just specifically at this Fibonacci retracement level. We can see the strongest foundation and base is about 26 cents. I know that seems concerning considering how high Rose is. That's literally half the price right now. But if the price were to come back down, we can assure that 26 cents should be the floor rate or the bottom. Or just bottom line, we have a strong support level built as a foundation, and that's ultimately what you want. Not a bad thing at all. All right, so now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and just look at the normal standard stuff. We're up over the 50-day simple moving average and the 200 is trailing behind. That's pretty normal. We're up over 50 and under 70 on the RSI. I like this, actually, as a matter of fact, because even though it is nice when 70 works as a resistance or correction, a nice support level to continue to push the price action higher, we're not going to see that when Bitcoin is about to drop its bottom, right? So Rose is performing as well as it can considering the circumstances. It's actually doing very well. So, all in all, very good stuff here. We literally see nothing that's bearish. Yes, we see a potential peak here, but that could level out. I think it's natural to see this correction that's happening right now, okay? Especially considering the climate and the fact that we've had 3 really quiet days from Bitcoin. It's like that calm before the storm, so to speak. And right now, Rose is performing perfectly for that. So I like the price coming back down, honestly. And it's one of those scenarios where hopefully you'd take some profit because it was obviously very overextended, closer to 70 in the RSI. But also bear in mind too, in that discovery phase, it's easy to want to hold on because it could go much higher. And I do think Rose has that potential, right? So we can't consider Rose out of the game yet. Yes, it's going to come down. It'll likely bounce off one of those 2 key level supports. We could even see a wick lower. That's very much likely. But the probability of it coming really low is pretty low, if that makes sense. Okay. Again, still very bullish on Rose just based on its overall performance in the last couple of weeks. It's done very well. I like the fact that the 50-day simple moving average is working its way up and essentially going to be considered a support level here soon. This is a very good sign. We also, of course, on the RSI, if I'm not mistaken, we're right above 50. So we're kind of testing 50 right now, so to speak, which is synonymous with the price action here at about 52 cents. So the fact that we are kind of potentially losing 52 cents here basically tells us that we might lose 50 on the RSI. That's not a terrible thing, considering the fact that the 50-day simple moving average is right below it, but it's not ideal either to lose the 50-day SMA on the midterm. Okay? Basically, it just means we're transitioning from bullish, which we see on the macro, to bearish on the micro. So that could essentially imply that Rose is going to start seeing a downtrend more continuously. Okay, at least a further downtrend. But key takeaway here: we're still making higher lows, and we're still okay in that sense, right? This low is higher than this low. And that's a good sign. I do think it's likely, though, that the next low will be lower, and we're probably going to break that trend, start making lower highs and lower lows, which again could only just be a short-term problem. And I don't even want to use the word problem because big picture, when you're in this discovery phase with all-time highs, we can expect some pretty good things from Rose. We just need to know that it has to calm down. It's very natural and normal for it to be retracing. Because if you look at this, we got up to an 8 on TD sequential, and previously a 9 where it consolidated sideways. And now we're down to a 9 here, right? So it's only natural for the price to want to come down and bounce and to try to stay above the previous low, essentially. Okay, but if we can't break this resistance plane here, which it looks like it's having trouble doing, and then concurrently we see Bitcoin making lower highs and lower lows, we're going to see some kind of progression to the downside from Rose here. I think it's only inevitable. I'd be surprised if the price continues upwards for Rose in the immediate future. I think we need a little bit more consolidation. We probably need a second wave all the way down to a 9. And then once we hit that 9, we should be good to go to get back up top. Okay. Again, pending Bitcoin doesn't do anything stupid. We always have to have that disclaimer on most videos, right? You've heard me say that so many times. And unfortunately, that's just the natural reality of it. But key takeaway here is, again, we're above our all-time high for Rose. We have a strong support level here between 40 and 45 cents, so we should be fine, right? It's actually not going to be a terrible thing if the price comes down to 45 and bounces. That'd be ideal. Okay, so again, we're not in dire straits by any means. We're just going to see a natural correction because Bitcoin is essentially selling off now, which we've been expecting for a few days now. That's the reason why we have a short position open as a community with Bitcoin present. It's showing a lot of weakness, and I think the likelihood of Rose coming down is essentially high right now, at least higher than it would be coming back up. All right, let's take a look at some other things here. Another thing to note too is we're well below the clouds for Ichimoku, right? So there's literally no sign here, at least on the short term, the micro more so, that we're going to want to anticipate buying in here, right? Because again, the Ichimoku cloud's a conservative indicator. It's going to tell us we have a buy signal or sell signal. We literally have only sell signals right now. The price came up, tried to bounce, and couldn't, and it got rejected off of the cloud. That's rule number 1. Price under the cloud, don't take entry. That's kind of the standard, easiest way to understand it. Yes, you can get lucky and you can buy the dip sometimes and it works, but it's typically not very successful. This hasn't fulfilled its destiny, its immediate destiny, right, of retracing and consolidating because it's definitely overextended considering the market, right? And remember this, take a look at this. Do you see any green here? Yes, there's one or two, but this is pretty much a straight red market. Okay. Well, the red market is all because this wonderful Bitcoin here, which is having some significant troubles right now, and Rose is feeling the pinch, right? So just be prepared for that. So consider taking profits now, I would say. You don't have to close your position necessarily, but I would recommend, take it while you got it, if that makes any sense, because the likelihood of Rose increasing from here, I think, is fairly low. Yes, it'll bounce back. Yes, it'll recover. It'll probably bounce off its previous resistance / current support level of 45 cents. But at this point in time right now, I think 52, right around the range of where it's at, is a bit on the overextended side, and it will probably continue to come back down. It's just showing the signs of reversal right now, which is very normal. So I hope you learned a thing or two here today. Obviously, if you want to learn more, I have a trading academy rolling out with that month in, of course, trading community. Link in the description below. Check that out in your own time and be happy to get to know you better and work with you. I work with all my community members, and we have about 400 plus strong right now. Awesome experience. Best thing in my life right now, honestly. Oh, don't get me wrong. I have a lot of cool things in my life, but this is probably the best, most amazing, rewarding, fulfilling thing that I could ask for, because it helps me help other people, and we're all building our portfolios together. Awesome experience. Anyways, thanks again for your time. We'll see you in the next one. Appreciate you as well, Rakan, for the request. Thanks again. We'll see you soon. Take care.